Dreyfus immediately gets notified of the attack, so he evacuates the settlement, armed his forces, and prepares to defend. Dreyfus and his men wait in anticipation as the horde of apes approaches on their horses amidst the mist. The apes start firing, forcing Dreyfus and his men to take cover. Dreyfus immediately retaliates, firing at the apes with precision. It is total bloodshed. Koba then gets on one of the horses, picks up 2 rifles, and initiates a fierce one-person counterattack. Dreyfus immediately retaliates by firing a rocket launcher and slowing the push. However, the apes are slowly overwhelming the men with their numbers, pushing through the first line of defense. To Dreyfus's surprise, a tank flanks the apes, eliminating a vast number of them. But Koba notices this, and with his uncanny maneuver, he is able to intercept the tank. And from there, the apes annihilate the defense. Dreyfus watches in terror, failing to protect his people from the invasion. The group finds the wounded Caesar in the woods, and they help take him to their truck. Caesar tells the confused group that an ape shot him, so they immediately head out. The horde of apes continues to chase the humans, running away and tending to capture them. A man bravely tries to slow the pursuit, but Koba knocks him down. Koba then commands one of the apes to finish the man off, but refuses, as he thought Caesar wouldn't want this. Angry, Koba drags the ape upstairs and throws him off the railing, killing him. Koba then incites fear to the rest of the doubtful apes, including Blue Eyes, telling them Koba is their new leader now. The apes successfully capture the remaining humans. Malcolm and the group arrive at an abandoned city Caesar was leading them to. Here, they found themselves at Caesar's past home, and the group discovered that he once lived with a man. Malcolm tells Ellie that he will go back to the settlement to retrieve the surgical kit needed to mend Caesar's wounds. The apes imprison the humans in cages, holding them captive. Koba sends out his apes to find other humans and capture them. Amidst the crowd, Blue Eyes, to his surprise, sees Maurice and other apes held prisoners as well for their loyalty to Caesar. Maurice tells Blue Eyes to protect himself. Malcolm arrives at the settlement and rushes his way in. Malcolm retrieves the medicine but finds difficulty on the way out as the apes approach his way. Malcolm tries his best to avoid them, but is met by a silhouette of an ape holding a gun. The ape reveals himself to be Blue Eyes, who helps Malcolm upon hearing that Caesar is still alive. Blue Eyes and Caesar happily reunite, and Caesar tells Blue Eyes about Koba. Later that night, Caesar realizes his mistakes, his misplaced trust, and his view about humans and apes. Blue Eyes tells Caesar about Maurice, the prisoners, and Ash's death. Caesar is now desperate to stop Koba, and Blue Eyes is willing to help. The next day, Blue Eyes devises a plan to break the prisoned apes free. Later that night, Blue Eyes baits the guarding apes into the prison, and with the strength of Maurice and the others, they wipe out the guarding apes. Blue Eyes assists them, and they break free along with the rest of the human prisoners. Caesar finds himself reminiscing at his old home. He finds a camera and sentimentally watches a video of his time together with his good old friend. Malcolm walks in, and they chat for a while until Blue Eyes and the refugees arrive there. Blue Eyes tells Caesar that Koba is planning something terrible. So Caesar, Malcolm, and the rest of the apes immediately head for the settlement. In the tunnel, Malcolm meets Dreyfus, but not before he tells the apes to take a pathway that leads directly towards the settlement and separating from the apes. Malcolm finds out that Dreyfus and his few left men plan to blow up the tower and that Dreyfus needs Malcolm's help. Malcolm is conflicted by this, so after thinking it through, he subtly takes a rifle and points it towards Dreyfus's team, telling them that they should give Caesar a chance. Caesar and the others arrive at the top of the tower where Koba and his lackeys are. The two have a short, verbal standoff where they clash their views and throw insults. This ultimately leads to a one-on-one fight to prove who's stronger. Koba is aggressive, throwing punches on Caesar, and they both fall. Back on their feet, Koba pushes the attack and lands his punches onto Caesar. Malcolm continues to stall time, trying to convince Dreyfus that he should give the apes a chance. But Dreyfus can finally distract him enough to make a quick move to grab the detonator. Dreyfus pauses for a while and tells Malcolm that he's only saving the human race, then proceeds to blow himself and his team along with the tower's foundation. Malcolm is able to avoid the explosion by jumping to a safe spot at the side of the tracks. The explosion interrupts the fight between Koba and Caesar, and it continues to make the tower collapse, increasing the casualties of apes above it. Caesar and his subordinates survive along with some apes. Koba survives as well, and he picks up a gun from one of the dying apes. Going for a desperate attempt, Koba tries to shoot Caesar and some apes who are helping the other injured apes. Koba hits Maurice, and this prompts Caesar to aggressively jump on the ferocious Koba, knocking him at the edge of the tower, and is now holding on to a damaged platform. Caesar approaches the platform, and Koba, desperate to live, reminds Caesar that apes don't kill each other. Caesar pulls Koba's hand as if trying to help him, but he takes one look at his injured men and comes to a simple conclusion that Koba is no longer part of them. So Caesar lets go of Koba's arm, and Koba screamingly falls to his death. Malcolm immediately informs Caesar that soldiers are coming and that the apes are in danger, telling them that they should go. Caesar acknowledges the wrongdoings of the apes, telling Malcolm that they had already started a war that humans will not simply forgive. The apes then bow down to Caesar, acknowledging him as their rightful leader. Caesar stands in the face of the sunrise, lying in anticipation for the storm that's about to come.